Welcome to Now Found. My name is Courtney Cohen. Have you ever felt so caught up in your to-do list that you have felt like you've lost some sense of who you're meant to be? A couple of years ago, deciding to drop everything and drive 14 hours out to the Smoky Mountains, it was a simple thing to do, actually. We had gotten word that morning that my husband's stepfather of 32 years had passed away. And all we could think of was that we needed to get out there and be with his mom. So within 4 hours, we dropped everything. We did a load of laundry real quick. We washed up the dishes. We closed down the house. We let our neighbors know. We just got out of there as fast as possible. And it was amazing how much faster the car was going on this drive than when we normally make this trip, because our souls, we just had to be there with her. When we got there, we were met with moments of long embraces and tears and lots of emotions, lots of opportunities to remember this man and his influence in the lives that he touched. It seemed like everybody had something that they did. Our children, they just brought that simple joy to their grandmother that children naturally tend to do. Then the brothers, my husband and his two brothers, they stepped up and just helped rearrange furniture and get things where it was easier for her to manage there by herself. I jumped in and just did the cooking and the cleaning and just froze meals. And then there were neighbors and friends that would drop by and just come and spend time talking with her and just loving on her and giving her hugs. And it was a week that we spent out there that was just amazing. It was an amazing week. It was hard, but we had these beautiful moments where we just got to swing on the porch swing and talk about his silly quirks that we loved and that we'll miss. And then when we finally left and we were on our way home, I felt the Lord just tell me, the way that you were with your mother-in-law, that is the way that I am. I'm not far away. I'm not distant. I'm right here. I'm very present in the very practical things. And the way that you were that week, the way that everyone was that week, that's how you're meant to function as the blessing. Now, when I got home, because we had been gone for this unexpected week and had to cancel all our appointments and plans, I got back to my to-do list. There was stuff to be done. And within a day or two, I was exhausted and overwhelmed. Now, that whole week that I was there at the cabin, I was working hard, but I never felt exhausted. I felt energized. There were so many emotions and so much work, but because the focus was not on getting the tasks done, the focus was on being the blessing, it was a completely different level of energy that I had that entire week. And so after a couple of days of me going crazy with my to-do lists, focusing on the tasks, the Lord finally said, Courtney, you're focusing too much on producing, and you're not focusing on just being. He said, you have turned being the blessing into doing all the things, and that is why you're exhausted. When we walk in a perpetual state of busyness, when that is just the way that life is for us, it is very easy to lose a sense of our being, a sense of who we are, who God made us to be. And that sense of busyness, that just raises our levels of anxiety. Don't fall behind. Otherwise, you're going to fail. It raises up this angst within us. And I'm still in the process of discovering, because I do tend to like my to-do lists, I'm still in the process of discovering that it's really not about the tasks at hand. It's about who I am while I'm doing the tasks. Who am I being? Am I being the person that God has created me to be, while I'm handling all of the important things or the urgent things that are on my plate today? Who am I being? Because when who I am functions out of fear, I have lost sight of my God-given identity. God has not called me to produce. He has called me to be. And sometimes that's difficult to wrap my brain and my heart and my to-do list around. It is my task in this life, through everything that I do, through who I am, to represent God to the world, to my environment, to draw upon Him as my one and only source. The doing is just too much when the being lacks. The doing is just too much when the being lacks. So today, how about we just ask God to help us learn how to be the people He's created us to be. My latest book is called The Sacred Shadow, and this is an invitation to enter into the daily mystery of God's kingdom. Within this kingdom, we get to walk in the reality that God has called us to walk in, to take dominion of our environment rather than to be dominated by it. You can find The Sacred Shadow at thesacredshadow.com and find all kinds of information there about it, what other people are saying about this book, and how it's impacted their lives. Be sure to also visit nowfound.org for more free resources. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and always remember, you are never too lost to be found.